This is the hidden scoped Kar 98K in Zombies, and this is that very same rifle, but in real life. Let's learn a little bit more about it. In Call of Duty Zombies, the scoped Kar 98K can be bought off the wall in Nocturne Toten on the second floor. You can purchase it from this cabinet for 1500 points. Or if you are feeling lucky, you can also get it from the mystery box. But once you have acquired the scoped Kar 98K, ammo is going to cost you a random amount, 380 points. When you compare it to its regular old wall-buy version, which is 200 points to acquire and 100 points for ammunition, there's quite a bit of a difference. And the reason for that difference is because the scoped Kar 98K is much more powerful. It will be a one-shot headshot up until round 22-23, which is a much bigger difference than the regular version, which is only up until 4. And I have no idea what they did differently between these two guns, but that's a very noticeable difference in strength. And the other major difference between these two guns is that the scoped Kar 98K is reloaded one at a time, while the regular old starting room weapon is going to be reloaded with a stripper clip, so all 5 of its bullets will be reloaded at once. And if you've ever tried to reload a stripper clip in real life, sometimes it's as easy as it looks in video games, and sometimes it's a little bit more difficult. Now, this scoped version also made a reappearance in the Black Ops 1 remastered of Nocturne Toten. But in the Black Ops 1 version, one detail that a lot of people might not know of is that there is no sound when you cycle the bolt. There is a reloading sound, a shooting sound, and everything else, but the sound for when you are cycling the bolt is no longer there. Here is the World at War version compared to the Black Ops 1 version, just so you get an idea of what I'm talking about. Now, the scoped Kar 98K has been in many of games, and a lot of them aren't even from Call of Duty. The Call of Duty ones that it is in is World at War, Black Ops 1, World War II, and Vanguard. And that's not even counting the multiple other games that don't have zombies. So with this gun being relatively well known, let's learn a little bit about its real life history. And for that, we're going to have to go all the way back to World War I. Naturally. In World War I, German snipers were mainly using the Gewehr 98 and were using 3x and 4x optics. Sniping was not as long distance as you think of it nowadays. They were a lot closer together than you would think. And German snipers in World War I were definitely to be feared. They were considered some of the best. But after World War I and the lead up to World War II, Germany had a different mindset on snipers. They really wanted to focus on mechanization, and they did not see the point in putting all this time and effort into snipers. So as we lead up to World War II, in 1935, the Gewehr 98 was shortened, modified, and updated to become the Kar 98K. And essentially, when it comes down to it, these two are the same guns. Given there are some differences, mainly, how they shortened it, but when it comes to the overall gun itself and how it operates, it mainly stayed the same. So a lot of people were running into World War II with essentially a World War I Mauser. And then in 1935, the ZF-39 4x optic was adopted as the official German sniper scope, although it never became universal. This is why you would see a lot of Kar 98Ks with many different scopes and scope mounts. They never had one standard that they just constantly pumped out. It was, here's a Kar 98K, and then here's a scope and a scope mount, here you go. And in 1941, a nice little idea came around where they would provide each squad with a designated rifleman who had the best shot. And this eventually led to the ZF-41. I know it's called Z, but I absolutely refuse to say it like that. And this optic was a 1.5x magnification, and it was never intended to be used as a sniper rifle as you would think a sniper rifle would be used. Hidden alone, far away from enemies, picking off like their commander or something from a very far distance. That's not what this one was used for. This one was to be given to whoever had the best shot, and they would still be there with everyone else. But their mission was not to snipe from very far away. It was to basically help give support. They would be taking out machine gunners, pillboxes, vehicles, and anything else that happened to come their way. Now, due to a certain Red Army and their very experienced snipers, Germany very quickly found out that they need to build up their sniper force. And thus, due to a rapid growing sniper force and a lot of shortages, this ZF-41 scope ended up being the majority of the optics issued to snipers, which, if you remember what I just said, wasn't really meant for sniping. Now, if you don't know, the Kar 98K shoots 8mm Mauser, and this round has been around, get it, for quite a long time. But one interesting detail about ammunition in the scoped Kar 98K has to revolve around the B Patrone ammo. which was originally meant to be used as spotter ammo for pilots and gunners, so that way they could mark their hits on enemy aircraft. Well, at some point, snipers got their hand on it, and if you don't know what this ammo does, it basically contains a high explosive charge in the round with an internal firing pin that would detonate on impact. So basically, what it comes down to is you're shooting a tiny little explosive. And when the Germans got their hands on this on the Eastern Front, it was used to very devastating effects. And the funniest part about it is there's an order from February of 1945 that required all German snipers transferring from the Eastern Front, which is fighting the Soviets, to the Western Front, which is fighting the Americans and the British, to surrender all of that ammo before they transferred. The High Command literally banned it from being used on the Western Allies. So that gives you a little bit of an idea of what they thought of the Soviets at the time. And in case you were wondering, the Russians also had their own equivalent of this ammo, and you might have heard of a man called the White Death, one of the greatest snipers in all of human history. Well, eventually you can only be the top dog for so long, and he eventually got hit in the face with this very same ammo, but the Russian version, and this is what he looks like after facial reconstruction. So this ammo really wasn't something to scoff at, it really did pack a punch. So now if we take a look at my Kar 98K, my mount that I have on there is a reproduction, but the scope is actually genuine. This is a GWZF4 scope, which essentially is just a copy of the Soviet PU scope. And like I said earlier, there are tons of different scopes and mounts that you can find on Kar 98Ks. And with it having the Mauser bolt action, it is an incredibly reliable weapon. It does kick a serious punch. I would compare it to the 30-06 because the 30-06 was kind of just stolen from the 8mm Mauser, but we talked about that in the previous gun video. But the Kar 98K makes for an excellent sniper rifle, and out of all the guns that I own, it's definitely one of my favorites. I just need to get my hand on some of that explosive ammo, and we're good to go. So coming back to zombies, there are plenty of things that they could have included with the Kar 98K, the multiple of different scopes, the explosive ammo, which I think pack-a-punched version would have been amazing. And it's just really sad to see such an excellent weapon have its reputation tarnished, all because it was the starting room weapon in a zombie game. And even in a lot of other World War II games, the Kar 98K is generally overshadowed by the Grand, the MP40, the STG, or the Thompson, just because they want you to have a very fun experience in their game. But just remember, not everybody in World War II was running around with a Thompson and an MP40. When you're thinking of Germans, it was mainly the K98Ks, and when you're thinking of the Americans, it was mainly the Garand. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully you learned something today, and I'm sorry if I got anything wrong. I tried to do my best when I researched this, and I even asked some friends to help me research. So if I did get anything wrong, please let me know down there below in the comments. I love learning about stuff like this. And if I did get something wrong, I would love to know what actually happened. So have a great day, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.